it is Thursday. I'm not even sure what day of the week it is. That's probably one of the problems with not having a job. But I have an interview next week, so that'll be good. So I wanted to bring up some things that I think are kind of interesting about this project. Yesterday I felt a little bit burnt out after working on the fighting system, so I ended up writing some pick and sticks with Allegro 5 and STL. It was pretty refreshing because I don't write as much C++ right now lately because I've been using a lot of Java, so I can do cross-platform, kind of like no hassle sort of games. But, you know, going from C++ for like 10 years to Java with libgdx, and just going from Allegro and SFML to libgdx, and just everything has its own little nuances as far as the libraries and the languages, and getting used to it all and trying to twist your mind from thinking like everything comes to me in C++, and then but you know you have to like think about it in the way of Java and everything's references and all that. So it was very refreshing to write some C++ code with some C-based library like Allegro. I guess I've missed that. I've been doing SFML before. I had my own issues with SFML, but you know they have their pros and cons. So yeah, I slacked off yesterday and I wrote code for something besides the Santa game. So that brings me to my next point of burnout. And the interesting thing is, this Santa game is the first thing, well, I wanted to make a pick and sticks game for Android, and then I wanted to make a mix between like a Tamagotchi but Monster Rancher type of game, and I got a little bit done there, but I didn't really get very far. What's weird about this game, and maybe it's just because I find that action RPGs are like one of my favorite genres, and it's just like very nostalgia driven, but with this really, really harsh deadline, I've been more productive than I have with the other games that don't have a deadline, but I also feel burnt out more often. So it's really interesting because, you know, at school you're like, oh, I gotta get this done, and you are productive then. At work, you gotta get this done, you sit down at the computer for 8 hours and get it done. And giving myself a harsh deadline, normally it's hard to give myself deadlines, but this is a seasonal game for Christmas, so having a deadline of Christmas makes sense. If I just give myself an arbitrary deadline, I kind of like am totally fine with pushing that back. So I don't really have much in the way of goals for this game, even if I get it done by Christmas. I guess people can play it for Christmas. But it's not like I want to have it done by the 20th and throw it on marketplaces, because it takes longer than that. So I have no idea what's going to happen to this game after it's done. If I'm going to like throw it on a market after Christmas and then work on an episode 2 and put that on for next Christmas or something, I don't know. So with this video series, I wanted to show partially the challenges of making this game, which I think I've done mostly by saying I'm burned out, I hate artwork. But also I feel like it's important to also show features. So I've just been doing a lot of talking about the game, and showing artwork, and showing some tiled maps, and like not really, I haven't done a ton of coding, and it's also harder to show off what you code because like yesterday I refactored a bunch of stuff, but you can't tell that. It just looks the same. So it's good to show the challenges that are going into making a game, a small action RPG within another like less than 2-week deadline. And then as well as showing features, which I'll hopefully have more of soon. It's just a matter of really sitting down and working on the code like for those 8 hours straight, and like getting in the flow and not having that flow broken. You know, if I'm just sitting at home all day, it's like just have to get myself motivated to sit at the computer, have to get myself motivated to program, open the IDE, have to get myself motivated to saying, okay, the next step in the attack thing is to do the attack animation or add stats so it actually does something when you hit something, or add the enemy class or something like that. So it's a matter of not giving into analysis paralysis, as it's called, and trying to always look at the next step. And that's my rambly ramble about making things. And now I'm gonna go stop procrastinating and try to program shit. So I have a few things done with the fighting system. I drew a spread of Santa attacking, his candy cane weapon, and an unanimated penguin for now. I implemented stats like health and attack power, but I'll probably add defense too. Notice how the HUD on the left now has Santa hats to indicate your health. When you attack an enemy, or when you're attacked, the entity being attacked will flash red for a bit and be immune to damage. This still looks a bit rough and needs some work. So I've killed the penguin. I'll have to make enemies randomly drop stuff like extra health or currency. I also need to improve animation for sprites, but I like what I have so far.